Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. Yes, this is our only Sunday segment for the entire Black history. And I think it was put on here intentionally as we acknowledge um, Nina Simone, which is the movie that you may have or have not watched yet. So if you haven't, you're gonna love that documentary. So first, let me just say hello, happy Sunday, good afternoon. I'm very relaxed today. Just slick on a little dress and just come on here to have this conversation with you. If you've watched this documentary, it is so filled with goodies. So first of all, I want to say hello to our mayor, to the entire town of Aurora, their staff. Shauna White, thank you so much. Nelia, who is from the Aurora Film Circuit, will normally be with us on all of these movie reviews. Today is her birthday, and we thought it's only appropriate that she is off. So, Nelia, happy birthday. We love you. We thank you for your support. We can't thank you enough. So that's what we want to do today. We want to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is, hi, good morning, Joan. Welcome, girl. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We want to talk about forgiveness. We want to talk about hurt. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about my divorce or my separation or whatever you call that, because I feel that I can relate to what it means to have a different mindset when we talk about how to overcome racism. And so this movie, Nina Simone, her real name, I'm going to read it from my phone, is Eunice Waynon. She is known as Nina Simone because when she had to sing in bars, coming from a Christian home to make money to continue to support her education, she had to change her name because she didn't want her parents to know that she's doing this. So that's how she died. April she died April 2003 and she born February 21. So today is her birthday and we just want to pop in and do this. Today I have my family, auntie and uncle, Catherine and Innocent. They will be joining me this afternoon to just have a quick talk with you. And I love this piece of the conversation because when you are a person of influence or whatever you are, I think it's important that people know every part of you. And sometimes we shy away from the part of, oh, I am a Christian. I am a Christian. I love people. And that don't, who we are and what we might have differences of what you believe in from us versus what I believe in. And that's what makes us unique and that's what makes us strong. And so as you come on today, if you've watched Nina Simone and that movie, I want you to put your comments in the section. I'm going to be looking on my phone so I can see them as well. Put your comments in the question. She had to deal with mental health. And I know that especially in the Black culture, mental health is, you don't talk about it. And I'm sure many other culture can identify with that. Good morning, good afternoon. We don't identify with that. We are shy away from it. We think that you're crazy if you need counseling. And I just want to bring up that in the Bible it says, give to Caesar what's due to Caesar. And Nina Simone had some amazing white men that were friends that stood with her when all the witchiness and the celebrity part of her had gone. They were still there. So we want to talk about the importance of having good people in our corner. Okay, so without any other comment, I would love to welcome my family on, Innocent and Catherine.
Thank you very much, Fiona, for having us on this program. We have been following you keenly, and we're so proud of you and excited about what you are doing. Uh, so, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you guys. It is an absolute pleasure. You are a man of God, and you're a woman of God. And I think as we deal with racism, we have to know that there's a different way. When I was watching this movie, this lady's been so hurt in addition to her mental health, that what she's going through, the hurt of how she become she's an advocate, and but it was done a lot of violence, a lot of hate. So introduce yourselves, uncle. Tell us who you are, what you do in your ministry, and let's get into this conversation.
Thank you very much. My name is Innocent Arajebe. By the grace of God, I am called into evangelism, and I have been practicing this by the grace of God for quite some time. I run the Inspired World Evangelical Foundation, both in Nigeria and here in Canada, and we have been able to reach out to many people, spreading the word of God and talking about what forgiveness means. Forgiveness is a very, very uh, strong thing that everybody should do. In fact, what makes God different from us is his ability to forgive
Yes,
and love.
exactly.
God has it's an embodiment of love and forgiveness. If you can imagine how many people are on this planet Earth, 8 billion they say, and let's take an average of 80% of them sin in a minute. It
Hmm.
means 80% of 8 billion, which is about 64 billion, 96 billion sin against 64 billion sin against God every minute. And if God were to take vengeance on them, it means 80% of 80 billion people will be dead
I
or will
love
be hot.
that you I love that you said that because we as human beings we make mistakes every day. We have to forgive every day. We are being hurt and we are causing hurt every day. But I think as human beings we get very selfish. We only
Yeah,
want to validate our hurt.
yeah,
And we don't want to acknowledge that the same way that we have felt hurt, we have caused hurt on people.
yep.
And so today, as we tap into this movie, there's no other way. I'm going to share something with you quickly, Uncle, because you guys have been with me and walked through me with this journey. Before I go into Nina's movie, in that she had a husband who just keep pushing her to work. Again, I don't know where his mindset was, but it's because of money. Of course, let's go, you can do this. But I had separated, or you could call it, we were right out divorce. I guess we were lazy to sign the paper. It was God's will. But my husband and I, after being with together since we were 14, by time in 2015, things were just rough and it was done. We're done. We had to go. We did what we do and we left and we separated and have our own independent life. Everything was completely divorced and we're gone.
Mm,
God was working on our relationship and in our heart because one thing that never left us was the genuine love that we had for each other. And I made sure that in this transition, there was no animosity where we can see that when you go through divorce these days, kids get tug here, and a lot of long story. The point I want to share with this, why I use it to use it as a correlation between understanding racism and the importance of forgiveness. When God reconciled my husband and I, and this was over another 3 or 4 years ago, that we are back together, and God is amazing. This is like we are celebrating 18 or 17 years anniversary and 26 years together out of love. If I or if Adrian were to keep reminding me of everything I did bad before in the past,
mhm,
or
mhm.
I'm reminding him of everything he did bad in the past, how could we couldn't go forward? Yes or no?
No way, no way,
No.
wait. But that is what makes offenses prolonged. I did something bad to you last year. I didn't. Maybe I did another thing bad today. Instead of discussing what I did wrong to you today, you bring what we have settled, and once that is added to this latest one, it becomes two. And it becomes very difficult to resolve. So it is always important or advisable that you settle one point or the other. Once you forget the past and move on. Don't go back to the past. And like you said, don't only see it from your own perspective.
Mhm.
Don't be on. Let me say this word as to put my wife uh, at the defensive side. No, say it as it is. I tell people, look at this matter the way God will look at it,
Mhm.
and God looks at it in this way to say, this guy was wrong. He was wrong in the sense to the extent of his knowledge. It's possible he didn't deliberately wanted to hurt you.
Mhm.
He just did what he did to the extent of his ability. and you refusing to acknowledge that he's not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
then makes you capitalize on his weakness.
Yeah.
And let me add that when you harbor unforgiveness, you are actually the one that suffers.
I like that because you and I were talking and you were saying it's like drinking poison.
Yeah, that was how a preacher described it. The pastor said, if I offend Fiona and Fiona does not want to forgive me and she wants to take revenge, it's like she takes poison and expects me to die. Especially if I am not even aware that I offended you. You didn't bring it to my notice.
You
So
know,
you kept keeping this thing in your heart, kept relating with me, and it's worse when you extend it to those that know me. Or you
thank you. I thank
yeah,
you for that. And let me acknowledge some of these audience that are watching. Welcome, guys, and thanks for topping in today, Sunday, as we discuss forgiveness, the importance of it, and how it helps us to deal with racism. If you're on and you have a question about for us, put it in the comments. I'm watching my phone. If you see my head go down, I'm watching the phone and we're going to be answering those questions for you. So let us know what unforgiveness you are trying to work out in your relationship, in your home, in your community. Um, because as we overcome that, we can move forward. So if you have comments, so welcome. Thank you for watching. Holiness, Jennifer, Peace, Dr. Henry, Ron, good morning. We thank you for coming on. We thank you for being a part of this conversation. And like I said, put some question in there for evangelists, and let us know what we can answer for you. We not going to say we know everything, but we just want to give you a perspective. So if we can help you with that, please drop your comments in the question. Auntie, I'm going to ask you a question because as women, we are very strong will as well. And in this movie, Nina Simone was a strong will woman. There was no stopping her. And she has good intentions, but they were not some in some ways, they were not always coming out the way she meant to for it to come out. They were not coming out right. What do you want, or what can you tell us, especially as women who are self-driven, self-motivated, very strong will? How do we monitor our emotion when we're trying to work towards effecting change?
Right. Uh, my name is Catherine, and thank you very much, Fiona, for inviting us to this program. Uh, I think dialogue is the best way, and you cannot dialogue if you don't present your issue. So, if you have anything hurting you in the home, if you have animosity, something that is annoying you concerning your husband, because we have to start from the home before we can go to the public.
That's right.
You have to bring it to the table. You cannot. Some people use the attitude of maybe demonstrating anger and thinking that will make them know that I'm not happy. But they might not know why you are not happy. You might not be happy, and even if they ask you, you're not ready to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But we voicing it out. He said, somebody once said, your husband is not a witch to know what is worrying you. You need to speak up. So you need to talk about what is annoying you. You don't want him to be thinking, is it because of this that I did? Maybe he won't even think about it. He won't even remember what he did. So that is how it is. For us to be able to deal with racism in the workplace, in the society, we have to say what we notice in our immediate environment first. Is it with your co-workers? You have to tell them, this is what I've noticed. Why are you doing that way? Why are you doing this the way you're doing it? And if you tell them, and if you see there is no response and no positive change, you can take it to the authority to say, oh, this is what I'm saying. It's not in an anger form, it's not in a method of quarreling. In that way, the issue can be addressed and positive results can come out. Because, like, if you have an issue with your husband and you present it, oh, you will be surprised. The husband will even say, oh, I didn't even know this will annoy you. This was what I meant. This was how my intention for doing this way. but you have read it in a different way. So by the time the discussion is done, you see that both of you will now be at the same level and there's good understanding towards that thing that you think he was doing purposely to hurt you.
And I think I appreciate exactly what you said, and I know what you mean. And for the people who can't do that, because sometimes you've kept so quiet for so long, and that's why, like I said, handle issues as they come. Because when it get piles up, the frustration is up here. The
Of
frustration
course.
is up there. And I think in the movie with Nina Simone, it was in her era where Martin Luther King was killed. And so it's a lot of pain. And they say hurt people hurt. But how
Hmm.
do you, when you're being racist against or being oppressed, yet you have to forgive because that's what we're called to do as Christians. That's what we're called to do.
Exactly.
We are called to forgive. We have taught to be serve with love. Even I think Martin Luther King says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot
Mhm.
drive out hate. Only love can do it." So it takes a great sense of maturity and intention. You have to be really intentional about this. So, Uncle, what would you want to add in terms? I have a question here. Is that when we're advocating or being in advocacy, our motive, because sometimes we are doing an action just to say, let's do something. It's Black Lives Matter, let's do something. It's Black History Month, let's do something. It's this or it's that, let's do something. How important, Uncle, is our motive and to understand our why? Because when we know our why, it's much easier. So, how is important is your motive when we're going to take action for change?
Thank you very much for that question. I want to say that motive is very, very important to drive any point home. If you don't have the right motive, you will end up complicating issues. For instance, you just asked about when there is a problem in the house, how it is solved, and my wife said, present it. The motive of presenting, are you presenting it to make this man feel he's a bad man,
Mhm.
or to make this woman feel he's a bad person, or you are preventing it to prevent future occurrence and to make things work better? So your motive for organizing Black History, Black Life Matters, or whatever you name you want to give it should be should be in love and should be corrective. We have a proverb in my dialect that it is only a friend that will tell you that you have mouth odor, and it now depends on where the person says it. If I tell Fiona while we are just together that Fiona, you have mouth odor, I when somebody, a friend of mine had it, or when I had it, this was how I treated it. I am talking to you as a friend that had a right motive. But if I not tell you in public, the motive is wrong. I'm not going to achieve the result
That's right.
because it has ended up disgracing you,
Mhm.
and you will not feel good about that. So having the right motive in everything you do is important. In both in your Christian life, in your secular life, in your professional life, have the right motive so that you can achieve results. If you don't have the right motive, like I said before, you will end up complicating issues. And that is what has happened over the time. People are arguing. These white guys don't like us because of this, of this. Have you considered how you contributed to the problem? I
Yes.
always tell people, don't complain about a problem you contributed to. I am supposed to, by our African culture, I'm supposed to be the breadwinner of the house. I'm supposed to provide the money for my wife to cook. If I didn't provide the money, I should not expect good food. So don't complain about a fault you contributed to. And that is the essence of having the right motive when you are pursuing any cause.
So I thank you so much for that. One of the things that I never ever feel bad to do is say I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Because the Bible tells me that offense, the truth may cause offense, but it's not sin. So I might tell you something. There also may be immaturity in the way that it was done,
Presented, yeah.
but it doesn't mean what you're saying is not needed to be addressed or it's not fact.
You are right.
I
You are
think
right.
it's time we should know that it's okay to say, you know what? And this is where accountability is so important, and you need honest people around you. Simone in the movie had some good accountability people around her. While she was very strong-willed and stubborn, there were people that says, yo, you need to get some mental health. We need to see the doctor. Are you going to do it? Yes or no? So people that can call you out and say, you know what, Fiona, that didn't sound so well. And like you were saying earlier, doing it in love. That didn't
Yep.
sound so well. And you have to can look into yourself and say, you know what? Yes, it wasn't my intention. How can I redo that? And giving people
Yep.
opportunity, like you were saying, to make mistakes, to ask for forgiveness, to receive forgiveness, and move forward. So
The,
I thank
the,
you for
sorry,
that.
the reason why unforgiveness prolong or offense is prolonged is that we expect too much from the other person.
Yes.
You expect you expected this line to be straight. And the guy drawing the line, it tended to make it straight. But as a result of some errors, omission or commission, inabilities here and there, the line didn't come out straight. Instead of correcting him, you condemn him. And if he's the type that he keeps that offense, I try to do my best, but my best is not always good for this person.
That's right.
And he goes on again, and it's repeated over and over again. So it becomes a pie, like we said. So that again comes to the motive. Why are you telling me this?
Mm-hmm.
And the timing is also very important.
Mm-hmm.
If you come up to me, maybe I'm already angry, and you are telling me this was what you did, you know I'm already angry. Obviously, at that point, if I have the spirit of pride, again, as Christians, we're supposed to possess the spirit of God, of humility,
Yes.
of love and forgiveness. And if I have the spirit of pride, I will not accept my fault at that time because you have not presented because of the timing.
That's right.
So when you're going to present your case, make sure the timing is right.
I
Make
agree
sure
with
it
that.
is good.
I agree.
Otherwise, you will end up complicating issues. Let me just tell you a story about a couple. A couple had an issue before they had a fight. The guy, as he was going out, the woman said, "I'm not going to cook for you today." And the man said, "I'm not going. I don't care about your food. To hell with you and your food." And he went out. He went out. He closed from work at 5 o'clock. He went to hang out with his friend, and his friend knew that it's only when something. He went. It was time for him to go home. He didn't go home, and the friend asked him, "What's happening?" And he said, "Look at what happened. This is that. I'm sure my wife is still mad at me. When I get back home today, she's not going to give me food." And after some time, he reluctantly went to when he was sure the wife had slept. He got home and met the dining table set, and he opened it and saw his favorite, and he looked around and saw the wife waiting for him. As he was eating the food, he said, "Thank you." The woman said, "I thought you said you were not going to eat my food." And he said, "I thought you said you were not going to cook for me." And that was how it was settled. The woman knew that this guy loved food, and she didn't want to keep the offense. And she didn't mean what she said when she said, "I will not cook for you again." And the man didn't also mean what he said when he said, "I will not eat your food." But when the woman presented the food, the man ate it in love, and you can guess what happened thereafter.
So, wow, that takes a lot of maturity, though, Dad.
Yeah, of course, of
A lot
course.
of maturity, because even in this movie, where you're talking about that piece, where even this listen, I'm tired, I don't want to go work, or I don't want to do this, or based on how you've been treated, you would like you said, your pride and your pain will block you from making the bigger decision. Earlier, we had a question that says, sorry, let me acknowledge someone that's asking about the movie. Thank you, love, for answering the question. It's What Happened, Miss Simone, that is on Netflix. It's like a documentary, and it's amazing. Welcome, Paulette. Welcome, Anthony. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Have your questions for us. We're really talking about where does forgiveness stand in our desire to have inclusiveness in our country, in our town, in our home. When we're talking about racism and diversity and Black lives, whatever we're talking about, where does God stand in that part in healing the places that we need to get healed so we can move forward? In that, Uncle, I would say then basically what you're saying is giving each other the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, knowing that no one is perfect.
Exactly. So giving each other the benefit of the doubt, how that's not easy.
It comes with understanding, and it comes with you knowing that you are not perfect, and I don't expect you to be perfect. And if we both have such an understanding, then we are able to go with each other. Then having the mind to forgive always will help you. Your colleague in the office may not know what forgiveness is, but your attitude and the way you relate and the way you practice will teach that person what uh, forgiveness is. One of my little girls, I think it was Peace, that used to say, "Mommy, click ignore." What does that mean? Computer used to have yes, no, ignore, save on, or whatever it used to be. And if somebody offends you, you're going to start bottling it up, talking about it. Instead of talking about it, just click ignore. Ignore the person because the person didn't know. And that was what Jesus said. Say, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. And Pastor Andrew Wynn, my good friend, said, even if they know what they are doing, still forgive them because
Yeah.
it's a command from God that you should forgive.
Oh, how dare you mention Pastor Andrew, and I love that man so much.
It's a father.
So awesome. He and mom, just so amazing. So someone says pride stands in the way of forgiveness. OMG. Yes. Pride, stubbornness, the ability to forget that, like you just said, Uncle, to understand that we all make mistakes and we're imperfect. And so we have to forgive. So there's a piece in the movie that I want to address. And I believe once I do so, I'm going to get those pictures to be brought up to the screen in a little bit. Um, I'm raising two boys, and obviously
Congratulations.
try to do a good job. And someone, I will call it attacked my strategy or my belief of being inclusive in celebrating Black History Month. They were questioning what was white people doing on my platform, or not even my platform. This is a free Facebook platform, and we all free in Aurora, right? They were questioning why I have other cultures except Black. And I kind of, you kind of put back and you're like, did you really ask me that question? Am I supposed to really answer it? Because when I look in that movie, we need to give to Caesar, like the Bible says, what is due unto Caesar. And you and I were speaking earlier, Uncle, we were mentioning we are quick to see and to highlight all the bad.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to talk about racism, and so this is why sometimes, even as we put things on the page for our Black community, I'm very conscious. Not that you want to control what you post, but you don't want negative. I don't want to see what the Kiki clan did so and so time, because that's only going to keep illicit hate. I don't want to deal with things that keep eliciting hate. I want slavery to be abolished because it was abolished and it has been abolished. And now I want to live into that freedom that God had given me, and that slavery of being abolished had also given me.
Yep.
So if I'm physically free but mentally trapped, how far are we going to go? So
Nowhere.
what I want to get you both to answer for me is, if my children want to date a white person, I don't want my son to feel like he's dating the enemy.
Yep.
You found somebody who loves you and you love them, and we need to can embrace people. I have friends who they're mixed and they have to say they're Black. No, you're really not Black. You are a person. You're you, but you're biracial. Embrace both pieces of you. And so it's easy to try to what side should I identify with? So when you have my have families who have been with, have children with other white family, mixed family, or interracial couples, why should they walk around feeling like I'm with the enemy? Because that's what you're sometimes made to feel. So my question to you is this: how should we as Christian and as people see racism? How should we, especially as people of God, be able to embrace all culture and really live a life like we are really free from slavery? So
Okay.
go ahead.
So yeah, so for me, what I look at, I've discussed this with somebody. I said, when it's snowing, when two people are wearing the jacket from head down, a white man, a black man, look at them from behind. You can't tell whether it's a black man or a white man. I said the blood is red,
Yes.
and the blood group is for both white and black.
Yes.
And if a black man needs blood, the blood in the bank, if it's the same group, you're not going to ask, was that blood from a black man? Because you are anti-black. If it's from black, don't give it to me. You can't say that. You
No.
take the blood. So I tell my children, I said, God has made us one.
Yes.
And by being in this environment, God has brought us here. So don't look at black, don't look at white. I said, you are nearer white than black. You are not at home. You are home here. We are Canadians, and so
Yes.
we are Canadians.
Yes.
So there is no difference. I said, the person that is discriminating between the colors, I said that recently at my workplace. A resident did something to me and they said, oh, it's because you are black. If it's me that did it, this resident will not say this, he will not say that. I said, well, unfortunate. I cannot change my color. I
Yes.
am white, black, I am black. We have come in peace. I said, I came to this country in peace, to serve in peace. I'm not serving my country right now. So it is an awareness we should create with the children that this environment, there's no difference between black and white. And fortunately, the kids that are growing up here don't even know whether there's black or white. It is the older generations and the children that people are brainwashing that know the difference in color. For
Yes.
many children, they don't even know whether there is difference. Go to the kindergarten school, they are all the same. They play together,
Play
they
together.
do
Yes.
anything they are one. It is
Yes.
when adults begin to teach them biases
Yes.
that these
Yes.
bias
Yes.
are, there. Otherwise, we are all one. So we're reading Ephesians and we're talking about how Paul came to reconcile the people of Ephesus, because the people of Ephesus didn't know anything. They didn't know better than the God they were serving. But when Paul came, after he knew Christ, he started preaching Christ to the people of Ephesus. And why was he doing that? To create harmony, to bring peace
Mhm.
and love between these people. And that is when the abolishment of slavery was done. It ought to have been done, whether socially, physically, psychologically. And that is the picture we should be creating wherever we go.
Mhm.
Not just because we are the minority, but because that is what the government says and that is what God wants. God created us without having a difference. So it's man that is bringing these differences. And our attitude and action is what we either continue to cause a divide or cause harmony and peace.
Thank you very much. I want to add to say that is where parents and ministers of God come in here.
Yes.
Say, God created us one. It is the climate that changed the color.
Yes.
And I tell people when I minister, don't transfer uh, animosity. What do I mean by that? If, for instance, you do something bad to me, and I get home and tell my wife, look at what Fiona said to me this evening. My wife is going to take side with me and tell the kids, and we all start having issues with you. So when somebody does me good, I share it. But
Yes.
when you offend me, I don't share it because I might be able to forgive you later, and the
Mhm.
people I shared it with will not be able to forgive
That's
you.
right.
And then the problem continues.
That's
So,
right.
for us to stop this racism of a thing, let us educate our younger ones, the younger generations, and let them know that we are one.
I
Let
love
them know that you should prove yourself. Say, act where your part for them, the honor life. Um, when my little boy Honor was in elementary 2 or 3, he was good in track and field. He came out first in 100 meters, 200 meters. Nobody said because he was black, they were not going to give him the prize, the trophy. They
that.
gave him
Yes,
the prize. So if you feel that your color is intimidating you, improve on yourself,
that's right.
improve on your character, improve on your skill, improve on your knowledge. So that when you come out, nobody will be able to intimidate you. So don't get intimidated because you are deficient. Your color does not make you deficient. It's your knowledge that make you deficient, and that will make somebody to intimidate you. So if you want to stand out tall, come out outstanding, improve on your skills,
I
and when you
appreciate
do
that.
that, nobody is going to intimidate you. In fact, they will wait for you to come before the meeting will start. And I
I
want to commend you for uh, having the other time I watched your program, there were Chinese guys, there were white guys, they were all
yes,
over. And if in fairness, if you had not brought other races together, you would have been a racist yourself.
well,
And you would have been preaching, practicing what you are preaching against.
I
So
you
I
know
commend you for that.
I thank you for that, and I'm going to cut you before I forget. When you said that, that is so important that you said that, because sometimes, let me acknowledge a few people that have some question. Hello guys, welcome, welcome, thank you for tuning in. Today we're talking about how forgiveness and love and just have good attitude can really help us to get over what we consider to be racism, discrimination. And we are looking at the movie Nina Simone, What Happened, Miss Simone. And we're just talking about that. In that, we see this lady deal with mental health, loneliness, who she had as friends or didn't have, the anger, the pain, and how hurt people do hurt people, and how we have to really role model what we want to see and not just keep pointing finger. Because I've said this before in one of our lives, we grew up as parents hearing that I don't care who start the fight, it ends now. So let's keep doing that. There was a thing I was saying to your uncle. If I go into a grocery store here, am I
Mhm.
supposed to blame Superstore because the majority or the whole grocery store don't have black foods or food from the Caribbean that I would love? No. Is it because they're racist? No. They're in a business to make you're serving your community as it grows. And as it grows, they will start to bring in these foods. Otherwise, it just sits in there, especially if you don't have enough people of that culture who know what they're looking for or have a need. And so sometimes, like you said, we are fighting against one thing, but they're creating another thing. We're talking about recently putting up, and I don't want to go on this, but I just want to give you an example. We're going to be doing a diversity wall, but because the one that we have now, we say it didn't have enough black people. Now what's going to happen? I'm going to put one up with more black people and a little white. What the difference that going to make? So it's for us to say, how can we just love and start with the root, like you just mentioned, both of you, in the home? I can't get rid of racism if I keep telling my children the white people did this to us. Be careful of the white people. Be careful of the police. I'm putting fear in my children.
Yep, yep,
I didn't
yep.
know that. So how am I going to get rid of it if I keep putting the more fear, the fear? And this is why I even try to not watch too much news. COVID is happening. We know that. But the fear of not having enough money, the fear of my business being closed, the fear of school not being open, the fear of getting sick. And what did God call us to do, Uncle?
We have to have faith. This
Yeah.
morning we're praying, we talked about, we actually prayed against fear because everybody is living in fear today. The government is living in fear, parents are living in fear, kids are living in fear, and it is not helping issue. God knew that there will be a crisis, and that was why He said, "Fear not, for I will be with you." So we should have faith in the Word of God if we say we are Christians. Even if we're not Christian, have faith and confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Don't always look out for negative things.
Yes.
Have the positive, the positive. Think of positive things rather than negativity. And because of so much fear, because of so much negative things that people are thinking about, that is what is driving people into depression because they are afraid of what could happen tomorrow. They are
Yes.
afraid
No job.
of the past
Yeah.
and they are transferring to the future. So please, my candid advice to people is fear not. There are about 365 scriptures that say fear not. And that is, there are 365 days in a year. Pick one for
Yes.
every day. Do not fear. Believe that God is with you. He will take care of you. If, if I pray about something and it comes out the other way, I just tell myself that God has adjusted the system, has adjusted the timetable to pay for me. The scripture says, all things work together for good for those that love God. I've got
Yeah.
another brother Nathan Gulliver,
Yeah. Nathan Gulliver.
Christine's husband, right? He
No.
added,
No,
Nathan Weaver, Christine's husband.
Weaver.
yes, Nathan Weaver. We're talking, and I will said, all things work together for good for those that love God. And Nathan added, if it is not good, it means the end has not come. So the
Mm.
crisis you are passing through today, you see it as crisis. There's actually problems. A child is sick in the house. There is no money. There's this. I agree. I acknowledge that. But my faith is that it will end in praise. It,
Wow.
my faith, my conviction is that no matter how turbulent the storm is today, God is going to take me through it. Unless He wants to change His word.
Yeah.
And He's not going to change His word. His word will never return to Him void until it accomplishes the purpose for which it was sent. So I want to encourage and advise listeners and everybody that watch this program hereafter, especially at this time of pandemic, have faith in God.
I will
Have,
read some
have
questions.
confidence in yourself.
That's
And
right.
you
I'll
won't,
read
you
some
won't die.
questions. Some questions from some of the people that you maybe can answer before we end. I can't believe time has gone so fast. This is so amazing. Someone says, some people are intentionally wicked. How do you handle that?
Okay, I think I said something slightly about that before. Some people are intentionally wicked. Click ignore.
Click it.
Assume that,
All right. Next
assume
question.
that they don't know any better. And you cannot reduce yourself to that level.
That's
I
right.
tell my wife, when two people are talking, and if I come and meet two people talking at the same time, shouting, they are both fools. So you don't know who is the fool inside. If you don't want to be a fool, keep quiet, let the other person keep talking. And so I will click ignore. This person, I would like I said, I said something like that before. Don't see the other person as perfect. He doesn't know.
Better, yeah.
If he knew, he would not do it.
The
So
next question.
yeah, so don't see the person as perfect. Look for a way of teaching or correcting the person in love. If you do, you will discover that the person will apologize for his error.
Amazing. The next question says, how do we educate someone you do not who do not know about God on his principle of forgiveness and believing that he's the creator? So basically, how do we tell a person who do not have a faith, I would believe, or believe in a creator about forgiveness? How do we who want to answer that?
The Bible says, faith cometh by hearing, hearing by the word of God. Teach the person, share with the person, bring, raise the knowledge of the person. Again, the Bible says, by their fruits
You should
you
know.
shall know them. So be a good example to this person.
Next
How?
question
Yeah.
is, oh, I think this was a comment. Someone says, we Black people have to learn to value ourselves and treat ourselves as brothers and sisters, work with each other, and support others to succeed.
Very solid, valid point. We
Now,
should learn to appreciate ourselves. Don't see yourself as inferior.
and that's the thing, I was saying to someone the other day, I am visible.
Yep.
Me not being visible is a choice.
Yep.
Nothing created differently or nothing you can put up or display is going to make me more visible than the natural body of who I am.
Yep.
So for me to say racism make me invisible, I think I'm making excuses to not stand up and be a part of the change I want to see. So, Auntie, thank you guys for watching. Suzette, Marjorie, Geneva, Carolyn, Nancy, Clavel, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Um, and like I said, if you have comments and questions, because we're just having a conversation, and I think that's the next thing we shouldn't have to apologize for. Apologizing, I don't think we should apologize for having a conversation so we can learn.
No.
We shouldn't apologize from having differences of opinion. And
Speak
one
up.
I think we should apologize for is being disrespectful.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm going to bring up a couple pictures. I think I have some pictures here, and I want to show them because this was back in the ages of Nina Simone time, in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 40s. And people were there with her that were not Black. And that's where I came back to say, give to Caesar what's due unto Caesar. It doesn't matter your color of your skin. If you've been there to be a part of the journey, then acknowledge that, because allyship has been there forever. People of different color have been working with Black people along the way. And so, yes, we know that we always look at the majority who didn't and dismiss the small things that's been happening. So in any form, we're going to just bring up the three pictures that we have to show a little of Nina Simone and her support system.
Okay.
So that was her and this gentleman that's just been a friend who picked her up when she's going through the mental illness. I think the next slide would show of him getting older. The next picture to come up, this man, this is the same friends from back there, is now a part of the story telling this documentary. So that's him. And he, you know what I love about the conversation? He said, that's my sister. How could I not be there for her or help her? This man is not Black, but he says, that's my sister. And the other gentleman that's coming up next was also another man as a sister who said, hey, you are in crisis. We need to get you some help, because he found her in Paris on the street, really looking like a mad person on the street. And so he picked her up again and said, hey, we're going to get your little apartment. We're going to get you going. And I'm getting your Dr. Nina. Are you agreeing to seeing a doctor? She saw the doctor get on medication and start moving healthier, and now she got back on stage, start to sing again, and life's trying to go for her. So having your support system and know who is there to hold you accountable and help you to grow, I think it's very important, and it shouldn't matter which race. So someone says, teach your kids to be aware but never fear. I love that.
Yep.
Because I heard someone say to me before, oh, if we don't do it, we're trying to dismiss that racism didn't happen. No, we're not.
No, it happened. It's still happening now.
We're
Uh,
saying we're not looking in the rear view mirror while we're trying to go forward.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It still happens now. What we should teach our kids is to stand out.
Yeah.
Whatever field you find yourself, stand out.
Yeah.
If you stand out, you are not going to be discriminated against. And there's something that just popped into my mind. A message I preached some time ago. I said, prove your love to your enemy, and you will discover that he doesn't hate you as much as you think.
Wow.
You get
Wow.
to show it. You may think this person hates me, it's all racist, this, that. No. But prove your worth, prove your love, demonstrate it. And
Yeah.
you discover that this person does not hate you as
Yeah.
much as you think. You are just amplifying it. And that
Yeah.
is the work of the devil. He tells you he
Yes.
hates you, he's going to do this to you, he's thinking that. No, the devil is there to magnify issues and make them complex. Very simple issue, he made them complex, and you guys start getting misunderstanding in your homes, in your job places, and the society.
And don't initiate trouble. We should tell our kids never to be the initiators of trouble.
That's right. Because I always say to my son in school, AJ, make sure you're on the right. Because when you're on the right and I put my neck on the block for you,
Yeah.
you know you're a peacemaker. You know when to stand up, when to speak up for yourself, but you're not, like I said, initiator of trouble. And you're
Hmm.
not
Yeah.
walking around saying, oh, I'm black. If you touch me, it's going to be racist, but you're
Hmm.
also breaking the law.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
So I love that. Someone says here, Paulette, we do not have to look at haters. Yeah, yeah, okay. So they're just having some conversation here. Thank you, Jeff, for tuning in. Thank you, Ron. Ron says, reserve a special place for pride. Lust, envy, anger, greed is the root of all evil and in the beginning of sin. And so I guess we just have to search yourself. There's a song that says, search me, oh God. You
Hmm.
remember that song? Know my heart, I pray. Try me, Lord. See if there be. Those are some old songs we grow up in. Any wicked ways in me. Cleanse me from every sin. You guys sing it differently, I know.
I don't
Yeah.
even know that.
I was
Yeah, we
at
don't know
prayer
that.
meeting with you guys. I'm like, what song are we singing?
I got lost.
Right? So I think as we close in the next 9 minutes, because it's almost an hour, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
I want to read this quickly. It says, as we allow our light to shine, we unconsciously liberates others to do the same.
You're right.
Sometimes we are the one holding back, saying, who am I to be awesome? Who am I to be talented? Who am I? But the question is, who am I not to be? We are called to shine as children of God are made to be. Whatever you are, whoever you are, shine in your own capacity, in your own who uniqueness. A great speaker once says, his name is Les Brown. He says, we are all born unique but die a copy because we have more frustration in trying to be what we're not instead of just fulfilling our own uniqueness.
Hmm.
So we're going to turn it back to you guys to give an advice to the community. And I'm looking if I'm leaving anything. I'm just talking about how we have to reconcile and the reconciliation process between racism in our town, in our home, in our country begins with how we operate as a person. It
That's true.
starts with us, me, how do I feel about things? How open are we to be corrected, to be told that mindset should be changed? So I'm turning it back to both of you. So starting with you, Miss Catherine, what would you want to leave with the community as the importance of loving people? Just love people. Just love people and receiving them for who they are.
Yeah. So what we need to do as blacks living in different communities is to show love. And how do we show love? By coming to the aid of our neighbors.
Mhm.
Your neighbor is not around. Maybe they put their garbage outside and they've already taken it. You can help them take their garbage can
Yes.
to their entrance because you notice that, oh, it's sat there all through the day. That shows that they are not around. You just take it and put it back in their entrance. So
Mhm.
it's not on the road where wind can blow it and it's broken or something. Just any way you can. Somebody is sick in the neighborhood, you can help pick grocery. You can go help them clear the snow. You can just pass by and say, good morning. How are you doing? uh, which some a new tenant came into the is around the house. You know that that house was vacant and the new person is there. Just give them a little gift. Pop in and say hi. I live in so 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 house. I've just come to welcome you. You give them whatever you want to give them, even if you don't have something to give them. Mere coming them to welcome them, they know that there's somebody like you in that neighborhood. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a little charity. Christmas time, just drop a little thing, and they know that you are in that community and you love, and they will extend that same love to you.
I appreciate that because in my little journal, as I write, yesterday I said, and I was talking to Uncle about that this morning, the little things matter. And sometimes we don't do anything because we just want to do something that is big and lavish, and we miss the point. Because I think we have to start from here. What we say, you have to crawl before you can run. And a lot of us want to run, but we're not being a part of the crawl. So the crawling is this conversation that we're having now. It's these little things. It's not much, but little is much when it's done, when God is in it. Is that what it says?
Yeah, this is what when God is in it.
When God is in it, when you're not perfect, but you're doing your part. And when we can be honest and keep each other accountable, this is how you could have done better. This is what you can do differently next year. This is what we can do better. So I love that. Someone is sharing. Paulette, I don't know what Psalms 139 says. Maybe Uncle does, but what is Psalms 39:23? Can somebody read that for us or type it out or let us know? Thank you for the verse. So Psalms 139, verses 23 to 24. We'll wait for Paulette to or someone to get that chapter. And she's
139:23.
139 from 23 to 24. And she said, the greatest commandment is love. Yes.
Says, it says, "Search me, O God,
Oh,
and
shall we
know my
spell it
heart.
as it? Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Try me and know my thoughts,
Yes.
and see if there be any wicked way in me,
Yes.
and lead me in the way everlasting."
Yes. So we have to remain teachable.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to continue to be angry,
Mhm.
angry. Anger don't fit anything. It's okay to be frustrated, to be passionate, and have a safe place to do that without have to apologize. But when you really start to get into work, anger doesn't work. Uncle, what do you want to leave everyone with today?
Thank you very much. I want to say, don't turn your eyes when you see something wrong happening. Try as much as possible to make corrections and correct in love. Have the right motive in whatever you do.
Yes.
If you have the right motive, you will win the person back.
Yes.
If you speak in love, you will win the person back. I would
Yes.
say I say again, don't consider every person perfect. Know that you are not perfect yourself. A lot of people make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, correct them. Don't bring back what happened yesterday to today. For the Bible says, do not let the sun go down over your anger, which
Mhm.
means as we started a fight by 7 a.m. By 11:55 p.m. we should be able to say, "No, I'm sorry." So sorry, by 6 p.m. when the sun is going down, don't let the sun go down over your anger. So if you have that at the back of your mind always, you will be able to forgive. And what helps me to forgive is if Fiona offends me and I'm going to get annoying, I'll ask myself, can I afford to donate myself to the devil to take to hell because of Fiona? No. If I ask myself that question, I will just forgive her and click ignore, and life goes on. It doesn't mean she didn't really offend me, but I decided to forgive for my own peace because I don't want to drink poison and expect her to die because she will die. I will be the one dying and developing mental health. Thank you very much for having us.
You're welcome. And guys, as we close, we will offend and we will be offended.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
will have a choice when we decide what we let hurt us because we cannot let our emotion take control over who we are, and often that can happen. Emotion I take control over who we are, and it takes us to places that we can't come back from, or it takes us longer to come back from that. And I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and for being a part of tonight's conversation. Um, and being a part of this conversation today. Sorry about that. And thank you. Thank you for participating. It takes great courage sometimes to do even these things. because it's easy for me to criticize that I don't have this, I don't know this, how can I don't know, I don't know who I may offend, who I may not offend, what did I say that somebody could judge me on or criticize me on. But guess what? Just do and say, God, protect my integrity, protect my character, examine me. Like I said, there's a song that says, fill me up till I overflow. I want to run over. Let love run over. I want God to just fill us up with so much love that it's just flowing. It become contagious. And so I can thank my amazing family to join me today and to have this conversation. And I hope it did help you today. I thank Sassy, Lavi, Adriana, Veronica, production team for making this live possible. Again, condolences to my girl, Sandra Humphreys, who did lose. I have a family member that passed recently. Enough love to you, Sandra. We're thinking of you. To Nelia from the Aurora Film Circuit. Happy birthday again today, gorgeous. Today you celebrate birthday with Nina Simone, who we're talking about today. If you didn't watch that documentary, watch it and follow this live and comment below to let us know what you got from it. To everyone who tuned in, Paulette, Jeff, Dr. Henry, um everyone, Mary, Geneva, Shirley, Carolyn, Clavel, you know yourself, holiness, peace. Thank you guys so much for coming in today and to be a part of this conversation. It takes a village to do any change, and we can't thank you enough. Have an amazing day. I love you guys, and I will see you around.